The rhythmic sound of the crashing waves was soothing as I gazed at the blue ocean and sky. The beach is so peaceful. It's hard to believe that the ocean is so rough out there. Mr. Naofumi, isn't there still a storm raging offshore? We were at a resort island called Kalmyra, but we weren't there to relax. The island was in the middle of an activation phenomenon, so we'd come to reap its benefits. The activation event was something similar to what happens in scheduled MMORPG events. It was a set period of time where the amount of experience points received by players was dramatically increased. So, while the phenomenon was occurring, we would receive much more experience than usual for the same amount of battling. Experience points seemed like such a strange idea, but I'd gotten used to it. This was a completely different world, after all. See, if you squint way out at the horizon, you can just make out some black clouds. I strained to see them, but it was so far away that I couldn't be sure. I guess I did see a dark line over the ocean. The waves looked higher out there, too. The breeze was wet. Raphtalia, you seem to know a lot about the ocean. Well, I am from a fishing village. I have a sense for these things, I guess. Oh, yeah. Why were we relaxing and watching the waves roll by? Well, we did have a fair amount of time to kill until we could act on the next phase of our plans. To explain what I was doing in a completely new world, I should explain from the beginning. My name is Naofumi Iwatani. I used to live in Japan as a member of a normal, modern society. I used to be a university student with otaku tendencies. One day, I stumbled into the local library to kill time and found an old-looking book called The Records of the Four Holy Weapons. I started flipping through it, and before I knew what was happening, I lost consciousness and woke back up in a new world. Apparently, summoned there to serve the role of one of the characters that had been described in the book, the shield hero. The book had told the story of a disastrous phenomenon called the Waves of Destruction. These waves were threatening to destroy the world. Standing against it were four heroes, each summoned from another world, each wielding a legendary weapon. The weapons were the sword, spear, bow, and of course, the shield. Sure, the shield doesn't really count as a weapon per se. Nevertheless, that's the role I was summoned to play. But the book wasn't complete. The text continued just until the section detailing the shield hero, and from that point on, all the subsequent pages were blank. And that's pretty much how I ended up here. Anyway, this world was very different from my own. People here accrued levels and experience points, as if it were a game. Whenever you battled and defeated monsters, you were awarded a certain amount of experience points, which would raise your abilities and level. They called this system status magic. Whenever I concentrated on it, I could see my various status attributes and their values spelled out before me in midair. It was an interesting world. It rewarded you in direct proportion to your efforts. But the shield hero was really a defense specialist. I was only able to defeat monsters indirectly. If I didn't have party members to battle with, I was severely limited in what I could achieve. It was essentially impossible for me to defeat a monster on my own. But it wasn't all bad. The legendary shield had a whole host of abilities and skills that I could use.